perspectives.
On the night of March 8, 2014, a passenger plane carrying 239 people disappeared into thin air, so to speak. It didn't just vanish. It was as if someone pressed a button and erased it from the sky, because there was no trace whatsoever. 12 years have passed. It's still somewhere at the bottom of the ocean. This story isn't like an ordinary flight accident. This is modern aviation history's greatest unsolved mystery. And the findings show that the truth is much darker than we thought. And as a result, many theories have emerged. Kuala Lumpur Airport, March 8, 2014, midnight. Malaysia Airlines Flight number MH370 is completing its preparations for a routine flight to Beijing. The Boeing 777-200ER type appears as one of the most reliable aircraft in the aviation world. 239 passengers and crew are settling into their seats to reunite with their families, go on vacation, perhaps honeymoon, or make it to business meetings. 2 pilots take their place in the cockpit. Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, 53 years old, one of Malaysia Airlines' most experienced pilots with 18,365 hours of experience. Next to him is 27-year-old First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid. For Farik, this is his first unsupervised flight on the Boeing 777, the first step towards becoming a fully qualified pilot. Normal procedures, normal checks. Extra fuel beyond the plan is loaded onto the aircraft. 7.5 hours of fuel is loaded for a 5.5-hour flight. This is standard safety procedure. The crew oxygen system has been filled one last time. Everything is in order and nothing appears to be missing for the flight. At 0:41:43, the aircraft takes off from the runway. No one knew that this aircraft was flying for the last time, and this flight was towards an unknown. The first 30 to 40 minutes appear to be a flawless journey. The aircraft climbs to 35,000 feet altitude, approximately 10,500 meters. Passengers are dozing, watching movies, reading books, talking quietly. A standard night flight. At 1:19:30, the aircraft reaches the boundary of Malaysian airspace, about to transition to Vietnam. Captain Zahari calls on the radio. "Good night, Malaysia 370. His voice calm, routine. A tired and careful pilot's daily message, and actually these are his last words. 2 minutes later, at 1:21:13, something happens. The aircraft's transponder turns off. The transponder is like the aircraft's identity card. It tells air traffic controllers where it is, how high it's flying, who it is. And now it's off, manually off. But look at the timing. The aircraft is at that exact moment in the no man's land, between two countries. It has left Malaysian control. Vietnam hasn't taken it yet. Perfect timing. Is this a coincidence? I'm sure experts don't think it's a coincidence. For civilian radars, MH370 no longer exists. In fact, as if it never existed. But someone still manages to keep watching. Malaysia's military radars. And they are very surprised by what they see. The aircraft makes a sharp U-turn. It completely deviates from its planned route and returns to the Malay Peninsula. This turn is not normal at all, not a maneuver the autopilot could make. This was a manual, hard, determined turn under someone's control. According to some researchers, the aircraft does something much more interesting at this time. It climbs to 45,000 feet, approximately 13,700 meters. The Boeing 777 certified maximum altitude is 43,100 feet. This is a climb that exceeds the aircraft's limits. Then a sudden descent to 23,000 feet, 7,000 meters. Why would someone do this? Some experts' answer is disturbing: to depressurize the cabin. At that altitude, without oxygen masks, passengers and cabin crew lose consciousness within 15 to 20 minutes. Hypoxia, like a silent killer. If you ask what hypoxia is, briefly, it's when the body, especially the brain, doesn't get enough oxygen. When oxygen decreases, the brain can't function properly. What follows is dizziness, loss of attention, irrational decisions, and further on, death. The aircraft passes over Penang Island, the place where Captain Zahari was born. Coincidence? A farewell? No one knows, but it doesn't seem like a coincidence. Perhaps it was a pilot's conscious suicide. Then it heads northwest along the Malacca Strait. The only one able to track it, the military radar, sees the aircraft for the last time at 2:22. Then, for it too, the aircraft is now lost. The aircraft has disappeared from radar, but there is one last hope. Because 35,000 kilometers above the sky, over the Indian Ocean, there is a satellite. Its name is Inmarsat 3F1. This satellite communicates with MH370's data unit once every hour, sending automatic signals. Even if all of the aircraft's communication systems are turned off, this satellite connection remains active. And this is where one of the smartest detective efforts in aviation history begins. In Inmarsat, engineers analyze two critical data returns from each signal. BTO, burst timing offset, the round-trip time of the signal. This shows the aircraft's distance from the satellite. Each signal creates an arc over the Indian Ocean, indicating that the aircraft must be somewhere along that arc. BFO, burst frequency. Offset, the Doppler effect, showing whether the aircraft is moving toward the satellite or away from it. By combining these two sets of data, the aircraft's approximate route is determined, and the result is shocking. The aircraft turned south. After disappearing from radar, it continued flying for approximately 6 more hours, on a steady course, most likely on autopilot, over an empty ocean. A ghost flight. The final signal arrives at 8:11, the 7th arc. The moment the fuel runs out, 8:19:29. One last signal arrives, but this time it's a different signal. The aircraft's emergency generator, RAT Ram Air Turbine, has deployed. What does this signal mean? Both engines have stopped. The fuel is exhausted. The aircraft is now losing power. And the data now points to a horrifying end. The aircraft is descending at approximately 15,000 feet per minute, about 4,500 meters per minute, a spiral dive. What aviation experts call a death spiral is taking place. A Boeing 777 can normally glide like a glider for some time, even after fuel exhaustion. But this is not that. This is an uncontrolled and violent descent. The aircraft crashes hard into the cold waters of the Indian Ocean. 239 lives vanish in an instant. But where? Where exactly are they? That remains an unsolved mystery to this day. As of today, in 2026, the main wreckage of the aircraft is still missing, but the ocean has begun to reveal some of its secrets. July 2015, Réunion Island. A 2-meter-long piece is found on a beach, a flaperon, part of a wing. After expert examination, it is confirmed. It belongs to MH370, the first concrete evidence. In the following months, more debris appears, along the coast of Africa, on islands in the Indian Ocean. More than 30 pieces in total are recovered. Ocean currents carried these fragments thousands of kilometers. June 2016, Pemba Island. A wing flap is found, and forensic analysis reveals several important truths. At the moment of impact, the flaps were in the retracted position, closed. This is a critical detail. If a pilot had attempted a controlled water landing, ditching, the flaps would have been extended, just like Captain Sollenberger did when landing on the Hudson River. But here, they were not. This is physical evidence that the aircraft crashed uncontrollably. And now we come to perhaps the most disturbing, most chilling part of the story. When the FBI seized the flight simulator from Captain Zahari's home and examined its hard drive, what they encountered was truly unsettling. About a month before the aircraft disappeared, Zahari had tested a specific route on this simulator. What is strange is that this route almost exactly matched the real final route of MH370 on that dark night. A sharp turn over the Malay Peninsula, a silent progression toward the southern Indian Ocean, and a flight that ended precisely at the point where the fuel ran out. The truly suspicious detail was that this data had later been deliberately deleted. Although the Malaysian government acknowledged the existence of these records, it claimed that they were merely an innocent game simulation. But was it really just a game, or a carefully worked out plan? Why did Zahari do this? Was he on the edge of depression? Or was he trying to send a political message? Perhaps everything was far more different than we know. There is neither a farewell note nor concrete evidence, only that vast, unsettling void left behind, filled with unanswered questions. A $155 million search, one of the largest in history. Hundreds of thousands of square kilometers scanned, the most expensive and most extensive search operation in aviation history, and nothing was found. But the story is not over. December 30th, 2025, just recently, the company Ocean Infinity launched a new search. This time they are using a different technology, WSPR. Weak radio signals used worldwide by amateur radio operators. When an aircraft passes through these signals, it creates small disturbances, and a researcher, Richard Godfrey, claims that by analyzing all of these past signal disturbances, he was able to trace the route of MH370. According to these studies, the new target area lies between 42 to 45 degrees south latitude, at depths of 3,750 to 4,000 meters. Maybe this time they will find it. Maybe the 11-year wait of 239 families will finally come to an end. Maybe we will finally uncover one of the greatest mysteries in history. Or perhaps the Indian Ocean will keep this secret forever in its depths. What do you think? Will we learn the truth this time? Let's clash ideas in the comments. To address the subject as a whole and bring everything together, what happened on the night of March 8, 2014? What happened to the 239 people? What is the truth? Perhaps as humanity, we will never fully know the answers to these questions. But every piece of wreckage, every data point, and every analysis brings us a little closer to the truth. MH370 is not just a missing aircraft. It is the pain of families, the determination of experts, the curiosity of the entire world. One of the greatest mysteries in history. And one day, perhaps, the ocean will break its silence and reveal what it knows. Write your thoughts in the comments. What do you think happened? An accident? Suicide? Aliens? Something else? And do you think the searches that began in 2025 and are still ongoing will finally produce results? More unanswered questions await. Subscribe to stay curious.